What's up guys, welcome back to Fancy Goldfish Fanatics. Today we are doing another episode on Rate My Tank, so make sure you stay tuned to find out more. Hey Fanatics family, welcome back. As always, check out those links in the description. Make sure to check out Star Fisheries, our UK sponsor, to get all of your fancy goldfish. They can ship nationwide. And for our US viewers, make sure to check out Jimmy Goldfish USA and use code JimmyGF at the checkout to get 10% off your orders. Today we are going to be doing another episode of Rate My Tank. It has been absolutely months since I've done a last video of Rate My Tank, where we have a few different tanks on the videos. We go through them and I give them my rating out of 5 stars. So today we're going to have, I think, 3 videos. On this video, I'm going to talk about the tank, talk about the setup, let you know what I think, any positives, negatives, etc. This is all just a happy, good video, good vibes, so there is no shaming, no tank shaming, nothing like that on people's tanks. And if you do want to have your tanks videoed or you want to have your tanks put on the Rate My Tank episodes, then pop me an email down below. The email fancygoldfishfanatics@gmail.com is in the description, and you can send me an email or send me a video of your tank and we can get it on the channel for you. So without further ado, I'm going to get into the video, get some tanks on the screen and give them a rating. So as you previously heard, I mentioned that we only had 3 tanks on the video, but we're actually going to have 4 because I had an extra one to add in. The first tank up we've got here is an absolutely stunning rimless tank. It is lit by 2 LED lights and the green carpet algae is absolutely amazing on this tank. I really love the simplicity of this tank. Nice and bare bottom, no decor, etc. And the fish are just absolutely beautiful. Without the decorations and any stones and gravel, etc., it really allows the eye to focus directly on the fish. And you'll also notice there's some other fish in this tank. I believe these are Denisoni barbs or torpedo barbs, and they are currently in with the Ranchu that you can see in the video. And these Ranchu are absolutely stunning, beautiful fish. I haven't previously seen anyone keep Denisoni barbs in with fancy goldfish, but potentially this tank could be from Asia, and I believe lots of the Asian goldfish keepers do keep Denisoni barbs or angelfish and a few other species with their goldfish. I believe they think they will eat the parasites on them, and sometimes they just mix up the fish as well. But we tend to in Europe not mix those species together. On the right hand side you can see we've got a weir, which looks like there will be a sump underneath the tank. Unfortunately in this video we can't see the filtration setup, but I believe there is a sump, which is why the water is nice and clear and the owner can have the huge stocking levels that they've got. The tank I would say is a little bit overstocked, but I'm sure there's a huge sump under the tank coping with all of the nutrient export and all of the goldfish waste that is being produced. Absolutely love this tank. I personally removed the barbs, maybe reduce the stocking a little bit, but overall I'm going to give this tank a 4.2 out of 5 stars. Absolutely loved it. So next up you can see we've got a slightly different tank on the channel. This one has got some ornaments, some pieces of wood and a few less fish than the previous tank. We've also got what looks to be some plants emerging out of the top of the tank. I'm not sure if they're real or fake, but it really adds to the ambience of the tank, and I really like this natural style setup. A lot of us do not keep our fancies with any decoration in case they knock into them, damage themselves or injure themselves, but we can really see the quality and the health of these Oranda in this tank is absolutely stunning. I'm not too sure on the size of tank, maybe around the 350 to 400 litres. I would say the stocking levels is really nice in this tank. There's clearly plenty of space for the fish to swim around in, and there is not overly stocked. You can see that the owner has given them some frozen food. I believe they're eating some brine shrimp. And I quite like the setup with the bubblers or aerators in the corner of the tank. It really adds a nice bit of flow and oxygen to the system. Overall, I really like this setup. I really like the use of the plants emerging out of the water and within the water. It helps to give the tank that jungle theme, and we can see the water is nice and clear. Obviously, we haven't got any video of the filtration setup, but looking in the top left and right hand corner, it looks to be there are a few spray bars, which I would assume there is a couple of large canister filters under the tank, which is dealing with the waste produced by these fish. Probably if I was to do this tank myself, I would potentially remove the plastic plants and maybe try some live plants, maybe some Anubias or Java fern on wood, keeping to the theme of this tank with the wood and the plants, but maybe making it a little bit more natural. Potentially the owner of this tank has tried live plants before, I'm not too sure, and maybe the goldfish just absolutely tore them to shreds. But if I was making some changes to that tank, I personally would do that, and maybe I would increase the aeration in the corner of the tank, maybe make the decor a little bit more simplistic, focusing the eye on the beautiful goldfish. Overall, I'm going to give this tank 4.1 out of 5 stars. Absolutely love this tank, great setup. So next up, similar to the first tank, we have another bare bottom Ranchu tank. This tank is definitely far more overstocked than the previous tank we saw, but it does show that you can keep high levels of fish in a smaller tank and maintain clear, pristine water quality. We can see there are a few aerators on the back, which I quite like to see. I do like that added oxygen. It does create quite a nice little centerpiece to the tank and a little bit of movement as well. Obviously, we can see the fish have just been fed and there is quite a lot of fat Ranchu in this tank. I believe the filter system on the left-hand side is built into the tank. It looks to be an inbuilt sump filtration with plenty of biomedia in there. However, I would definitely say that this tank is a little bit overstocked, and personally I would reduce the levels of fish in this tank. You can see there is a pump in the tank as well, which I assume is feeding an over tank filter, which potentially could be a shower style filter, potentially is causing the water to look absolutely crystal clear, as you can see. Generally, the shower style filters are really good for fancy goldfish tanks. They remove the carbon dioxide and regas, adding oxygen to the water. They're really good at taking out all of the impurities within the water, and you can add a range of different filter mediums to them as well, which I'm sure is why this tank is looking so clear with the overhead filter and potentially the sump on the left hand side as well. Personally, I quite like this tank, but I would definitely reduce the stock. I'd maybe add a little bit of sand or gravel into the bottom of the tank, maybe adding something for the fish to sift through, because obviously they don't have a huge amount of space and it would be nice to give them some enrichment. Overall, I'm going to give this tank a 3.8 out of 5 stars. Absolutely love the fish, but I'd like to change the setup a little bit. Finally, we are on to the last tank, as you can see here. Now, this is one of the top tanks if you search for fancy goldfish on YouTube, so I thought it would be great to have this on the channel and show you guys and give you my honest thoughts about it. I really like the mix of varieties within this tank, the simplicity, the clarity of the water, that air curtain at the back of the tank adding some aeration, some flow, and I really like how they focus the rock centerpiece with the fish surrounding it. I would say this tank has been created or aquascaped to focus on the rocks rather than the fish, and the fish are the afterthought adding to the setup. I really like this tank though. It has been done really well with the clean white sand and the grey rocks. It looks to be like this tank has been recently set up, but the fish just add a beauty to this tank. I assume this tank has been filtered by a canister filter within the cabinet, and potentially this tank has just been set up for the YouTube video that they were doing. I'm not sure if this is a long-term system for the goldfish, as potentially these goldfish will outgrow this tank and potentially cause quite a lot of mess and detritus. The detritus can really build up within those rock crevices and rockwork. So if you are going to keep a tank like this one here, I would definitely recommend gravel vacuuming on a weekly basis to remove that build-up, as it could lead to a higher level of nitrates. I really like on the right hand side of the tank that they've got those clear glass intake and outtakes for the filter, which really allows you to focus on the scape and the fish rather than any equipment. Overall, I'm going to give this tank 4.3 out of 5 stars. Absolutely love the setup and the fish. So that is it for this video. I hope you really enjoyed it. I thought the tanks we had on the video today were really interesting, really cool, really unique, and I really enjoyed seeing them, hopefully as much as you guys did. If you've got any questions, as always, leave them down in the comments below. If you want your tank featured on Rate My Tank, or you want your tank on a tank tours video, then make sure to email down below or leave a comment and we can get in touch with you. As always, thank you all for watching. Remember to keep those water changes up, and happy fish keeping.